On this edition of Talking Press, pleased to be joined by Loren Montgomery, the head coach of the Bixby Spartans, head football coach. Coach, how are you today?
Doing great, doing great. I hopefully we can see the end in sight on this thing. Our state association here in Oklahoma has said that we might be able to go back to work in some form or fashion June 1. So we're eagerly anticipating that.
That would be excellent. Any idea on when they might make that formal announcement?
Hopefully this week. You know, they came out a couple of weeks ago and said that they were going to give us June 1st, as a kind of a target date, and they said they would give more instruction this week. So we're hoping we get a little bit of guidance, and then that way we can begin to plan our situation.
Speaking of planning, have you kind of thought ahead of how you would approach it? Given any thought to that?
Yeah, fortunately for us, we've got really nice facilities in Bixby. Our weight room is an old PE gym, and we've got 36 individual platforms or stations. And so we feel like with the space that we have in there and the open air and being able to get air circulating, we could handle 36 guys there, 36 guys out on the football field, and then we have an auxiliary weight room where we could space out 20 really well. So we feel like we could run a fair number of kids through like we do every summer. It won't look the same as we do every summer because we'll have to split them up and maybe have 6 or 8 different groups coming through. But yeah, at least to knock the rust off and get out and move around and exercise and lift a few weights, hopefully we'll be able to do that.
That would be excellent. Would the majority of the work be conditioning, at least starting out, and then kind of slowly working your way into drills?
That would be my plan because several of our guys are probably conditioned to some extent, especially because they don't have access to weights and those things. And as much as I'd like to think that they're all out there running hill sprints and busting their tail, there's probably a fair amount of them that have sloughed off just a little bit in that regard. So there's going to be an acclimatization period that we're going to have to knock out, I imagine.
One thing and you mentioned some kids may not be as active. This is probably the first time in a long time a lot of these kids have had to kind of shut it down. Do you think that is a little bit of a benefit to just give their bodies a chance because these kids go year-round now?
Yeah, I've actually thought of that. Our kids do, if you're in our football program, you lift year-round. We lift during the season, summer, spring. They get 2 weeks at Christmas, a week at spring break, and then we give them a week off at the beginning of the summer, and then now the July 4th. So, typically they'll only get about 5 weeks off in the entire summer, and so some of the guys that are playing multiple sports, I think it'll definitely help them get their legs back underneath them and get going.
Multiple sports. Do you have a lot of guys that play multiple sports, and is this something that you encourage? We're seeing more and more college coaches now speak out on that, wanting kids to play multiple sports. Kind of what's your thought on that?
No, I definitely encourage our guys to go compete and play other sports. We've got probably over half of our guys participate in at least one other sport. We try to send all our skill guys to track if they're not already in baseball or another spring sport. A lot of our guys wrestle and play basketball. And it's just kind of our thought, if you're out there competing, there's real benefit to that. And then we're fortunate enough that our administration at Bixby has committed to building strength and conditioning into the school day with a full-time strength and conditioning coach. So even if you are playing baseball or even if you are wrestling, you're getting that work in, year-round, just like a football-only guy would be.
That's tremendous, and the commitment to that. And once they get started on that early, they're probably going to continue that and throughout life, and that's going to promote a very healthy lifestyle, no doubt. Well, let's talk about your program. Amazing. As we take a look at Twitter, you got the highlights up. 5 titles in 6 years. I mean, that is amazing. How are you able to maintain that level of excellence?
Well, I tell you, we've been really fortunate. We've got a community that really gets behind Bixby Spartan football. We've been able to Well, back in 2010, we made the leap into 6A from 5A, a very successful 5A program, and then we made that jump. And you know what? We've got a lot of staff continuity, guys that have been around one another for a long time now. Our offensive coordinator, he's going on his 10th year. I'm going on my 11th. Our linebackers coach is going in his 12th year. Our defensive coordinator is going on his 8th year, I believe. And so we've got a lot of continuity in staff and a lot of guys that take pride in developing as coaches, developing our kids, and have a model of continuous improvement. I think there's a common thread that none of our guys want to be complacent. They're always working to get better. And also we've had a great run of talent at Bixby. Obviously, you know, everyone knows that it's really all about the players. And so it's been a fun run, and we've had some good teams, and hopefully we can continue to build on that.
No doubt it has been a tremendous run at Bixby, and it is a culture of winning. And does that kind of fuel a lot of it too? Because there's a level, it's kind of unspoken, but you want to live up to that and you want to maintain that standard. It's almost as much from within as it is just, you know, the expectations from the community. It comes from within the players, right?
Yeah, you're breaking up there on the end, but we have a community that has extremely high expectations. We've got, you know, a school board, a superintendent, principal, athletic director that has to do really well and give us the resources necessary to be successful. And then our younger kids growing up now, that's all they've ever seen is they've seen that level of success, and so they expect it. Now it's our jobs as coaches to make sure we reinforce the fact that winning isn't easy. It's never easy. You got to work your tail off to do it, and you got to continue to have an edge about yourself each and every time you step on the field.
No doubt, and there's just a level when you play for the Spartans. There's a level of excellence that's set, and that's what I was saying before it cut out. And that in itself is a major motivating factor, is it not?
Well, it is, and I could take Coach Douglas, our linebackers coach. We've had a string of just phenomenal inside linebackers, and I can't remember a year where we've ever had two seniors. It's always a senior and another guy, and then the next year the sophomore or junior is kind of the older guy, and he gets the other guy ready. And so there's a culture of building those guys that are coming along behind you because he may be playing next to you next year, or you know, just kind of the history of the program. For example, on our Thanksgiving Day practice, we invite our alumni out, and you know, we'll have 40 or 50 alumni, and those guys all want to come out and look at their position and find out who's playing their position, what number is he, how's he playing, you know, and that. So there's some history, there's some tradition and expectation there.
No doubt about it. On a Friday night, Spartan Stadium, if someone hasn't experienced it, Lee Snyder Field at Spartan Stadium is one of the most phenomenal atmospheres for high school football I've ever seen, and it is unlike any other. It is something to be beholding, and I know it's a huge advantage for you guys when you play at home.
Well, we love it. I tell you what, our athletic department does a great job. Our quarterback club does a great job of setting the stage for, man, it's an event. It's not just a football game. You see all the tents set up. You see the entire pregame is just jam-packed with ROTC, with band, with members of our community sponsors. And I'll tell you something cool that we're going to get to experience this year. We just signed a deal to have a new video board installed. It's going to be, I think, probably one of the largest in the United States. It's going to be approximately 65 feet long, and I want to say 25 feet tall. And it's going to be a 6mm resolution, which is one of the highest, if not the highest, high school video board that I know of in the United States.
Wow, that's going to be fantastic. That'll be a fantastic addition to the atmosphere. And just when you think it couldn't get to another level, that thing's probably going to take it to another level. People are not going to want to have to play games in Bixby, I'll tell you that.
Well, let's hope it's worth a couple extra points.
Yeah, that's always good. Well, speaking of points, how would you like to take our quick quiz?
Man, I don't know. I'm not a very good test taker, but here, I'll try my hand.
All right, here we go. First place you're likely to take the family, out to eat or out to get a haircut?
Out to a restaurant for sure. I've been cutting my own hair, and the parts I miss on the back, my wife's been fading in for me.
Excellent. A little team effort. Can you play a musical instrument?
No, I am not very musically inclined. I'll just be honest with you. Anytime I try to sing, play an instrument, it's bad news. But I sure do appreciate our band and our drum line. One of the coolest things ever. Our drum line comes into our weight room in our pregame warm up for home games and plays while our guys are warming up in there. Pretty cool.
Oh, that is awesome. Third question, more likely to grill, beef, chicken, or pork?
Well, that is a great question, actually. I've got some chicken wings on now, but I'm most likely to grill beef. I'm a red meat guy and got a neighbor that has a ranch that gets our beef, so I love a good steak.
Excellent. What was the last movie you saw at the theater?
Oh, man. It's been years since I've been to the theater. Man, I don't know. The last one that I remember, I think, is Gladiator. That's how long it's been since I've been to the movie theater.
Wow. And final question. Which have you spent more time doing, cleaning the garage or doing yard work?
Well, I don't know if you can see it in the back, but I've been doing yard work. My yard looks like a golf course right now. I was so bored today that I was out picking weeds and making sure everything was in place.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think everybody's yard's going to look really good in a few weeks.
Yeah.
when summer officially kicks off. It's going to be phenomenal. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Glad to hear you guys are getting close to ramping it up, and we'd love to check in with you this fall and talk some Spartan football.
Excellent, Blair. I sure do appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.